Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Starting Mad of Virals Gaming, with a gaming commentary, and this time I am going to be bringing you a review of Black Ops 2, now that it's come to the end of its life cycle, and that I can finally give my final thoughts regarding this game. Now, a lot of people think it's a pile of shit, and I am inclined to agree with them. It is not the best game out there, that is for sure, but there's plenty more better games I have played in my lifetime, namely Red Faction, because that even has a better hit detection than this piece of shit. Now, we're going to go through it in order, so let's begin with the campaign. Now, I love this campaign. The campaign was flawless. It offered many new things that Call of Duty hadn't done in the past. You had different ways of ending, different storylines taken off, and you had different routes to go down them. You had the Strike Force missions, you had so much customization in the campaign itself, and that was what I think Call of Duty should stick with. Let the player decide how the game ends, essentially. And I love the ending, and I can't wait to see what they do for the next campaign. I mean, if I ever do buy the next game, because I did say it a long time ago, I may never buy another Call of Duty Triage game ever again, but if it's a good campaign, hey, I may invest in it, because I like the campaigns. And I mean, the characters that they captured, the return of Mason, and even the return of Reznov, I wish he had made a bigger role in it all, but it was still a really impressive done campaign. And what I do feel that they failed to do was connect the campaign to the multiplayer. I think they failed to integrate both more possibly better. I mean, you had things in the campaign that would have been awesome to have in the multiplayer, like this controlling of the drones. That would be an awesome score streak, or even a streak in itself, or even something that you come across and you can control to help defend an objective. I generally feel that this is probably one of the best campaigns by a long shot. And I mean, I like most of the old ones. World at War is still my favourite, always will be. Modern Warfare, I didn't really interest me that much. Modern Warfare 2, I loved it because of the last mission, the Rising Sun or whatever it was called, where the EMP went off and it all just went to hell. That was awesome. I loved it. And Black Ops as well, one of my other favourite campaigns. I mean, I love campaigns. That's what I play for. It's like reading a book, but you're not reading a book. You're actually experiencing it. And I have to congratulate Triage on making a good campaign, because that's a good campaign. And I mean, Menendez as a villain is phenomenal. I mean, this guy is what you want a villain to be. He can be related to. He's lost everything. He is destroyed his mind, his family, his sister, I think it was. Everyone is dead, and the Americans took that away from him. You wouldn't you want revenge? And I mean, the way he executed his plan, and the fact that you got to play him as well, was pretty fantastic. I loved it. I loved playing as Menendez. And when the drones blew up, it was kind of like he never had any plan in the end to destroy the entire world. He wanted to make them vulnerable. That's all he wanted, vulnerability. And he wanted to be a martyr. And I hope they go with the martyr storyline, because I think that one's more open. It gives them more to do, because then they can carry it on. The Cordis Day can rise up and stuff like that. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think it'll be a good idea. I really do. So we're going to move on to the multiplayer. Now, as I said, the multiplayer, when it first came out, it was okay. I think it was good. It had the potential to be very good, and it played largely well. Like, yeah, a lot of people bitched about the SMGs, but what do you freaking expect? They're meant to be good at close range and stuff. I just don't get that logic. Yeah, the PDW was overpowered and all that stuff, but that doesn't mean you have to nerf it 3 or 4 bloody times. Same goes for the MSMC and every other assault rifle and SMG that they bloody nerfed. And then they buffed the snipers and the LMGs and all that shit, and it just kind of bogged the game down. It unbalanced the game to the point that people just got sick. And then on top of that, you've got camera angles, you've got lag compensation. It's all just seems so rushed. It just feels rushed. The maps aren't even that good either, and it just seems like they're catering too much to an LMG playstyle that no one, and I mean, I'm not having a go at anyone who plays LMG, but I am a casual player. I'm an average player at best. I am a competitive player. That's a lot of my rage. I just get really competitive and I get really frustrated with it all. And I just feel like they missed the point of this multiplayer. I mean, I think they could have done a lot better with the maps. I mean, my personal favourite map in the game is Standoff. Then it would be Grind Downhill. That's the only few maps I really like. I don't really have an appreciation of all the other maps because they just all seem to be, I don't know, the same, generic. They seem to have the same bullshit in them that allows you to camp like a bitch for the best part of the whole match. And again, they have attachments and they have like things in the game that are just gonna piss people off. You got the attack insertions, that's bad enough. Why did you bring them back for? When you know people boost like bitches with them. Why did you bring that back? That is the most stupidest thing you've done. And then the target finder. Now, I can understand if you use this and you're new to Call of Duty, you have no experience prior with it, and you want to get in and you want to get a good start, and then move on to other things. And I can understand if you rush with the target finder, because obviously that's fine. If you rush, and that's fine. But if you're camping and sitting in the back of the map with an LMG or anything with a target finder, you are pathetic. You are the definition of sad. Like, it's going to come one day to the point where more Call of Duty multiplayer is going to be people sitting at the back of the maps with all manner of defensive equipment and not moving. It's going to end no score draws because people are just going to sit and be like camping. And then obviously the black worm and all that stuff. Now I've got now against Golden Saint, but that damn worm squirm, get rid of it. It's frustrating, but it can be dealt with. I just feel like the 10-point system as well, it didn't really make sense. Like, everything was 1 point. There's no kind of need, there's no force to change your weapons up because you can just hoy anything on and that's it. It's pathetic, it's ridiculous. I don't know what they were trying to do with this multiplayer, but they failed. And even League play doesn't get that many playing. And I mean, this multiplayer, there's not even many people on. There's only like 30k people on at any given time. Well, that's enough of the multiplayer. I mean, I could go on forever about the multiplayer, guys, because I just feel it didn't sell it for me as any other multiplayer. I mean, World at War, the maps I loved. The atmosphere of their maps, even when you were by yourself and you were just walking around the asylum, it was fucking creepy. That is what I like. I like a map or a multiplayer that incorporates aspects of the campaign. I feel like they just went too kiddish. Like, seriously, Escape Park, and then what else was there? And bringing back old maps. I don't know why. If you could bring back the old maps, just keep the skin and release them for free. Don't put them as part of a fucking DLC and force people to pay for them. That's just not right. That's cheap. I mean, Nuketown was a fail. It was a disaster of a map in this game. That's a good example. I'm going to move on to zombies now. Now, if you don't know, I am a massive, massive fan of the zombies game in Call of Duty. I played World at War, I played Black Ops, obviously, and obviously, I'm going to be honest, I haven't played much Black Ops 2. World at War was everything I would have wanted in a kind of that setting for a kind of zombies game. That setting kind of made sense. It fit quite nicely, or intricately. I mean, you had the Giant Project, the Rise, whatever, Shinunuma, the Rukt, even Nuketown, sorry, Nashta and Toten. And they captured the element of unknown. You didn't know what to expect when you first played them. You went to their map and you were like, fuck me, they really went to the town on this place. I mean, the Rukt to this day is one of the scariest maps I've ever played on Call of Duty. And I mean, it captures the element of insanity in a way that not many other games can do. It made me feel like Dead Space in a way. And it was in a very good way as well. Shinonuma, it captured atmosphere perfectly when you look at it. I mean, it had this creepy nursery rhyme like chant that also appears in Die Rise, and you're just standing there at the end of a round, and all you can hear is the jungle sounds in your ear. Oh, sorry if that made noise. And then you hear this, oh god, I can't do it. And then Deriz, oh my god, my favourite map. I mean, This is one of them maps where you just don't want to sit around and do nothing. You just want to run around and just play the survival aspect of it. And if you die, it's like, fuck it, I enjoyed myself. I mean, what happened to them days? What happened to the simple Easter eggs and the simple radios, all the notes and all that shit? What happened to that, guys? What happened? I think when you went to Black Ops, it was still captured those elements of fear and those elements of unknown. In Ascension, even in Kino, and even to some extent in 5. And now a lot of people didn't like 5, but I loved it personally. I loved the challenge of it. And then Shangri-La came along, and I was like, I didn't really get that map. Neither did I get Call of the Dead, but I played both. I played Call of the Dead, and it was okay. I never really experienced Shangri-La, but apparently it was very hard from what I did. What really threw me off the game mode was Moon. Now, I'm a sci-fi writer, and you might say, well, Kieran, why are you complaining? This is everything you would have hoped for. Well, no, not really. Because the beauty of science fiction is capturing the... Oh, how can I phrase this? Like, it's capturing a representation of us, of humanity, of everything that is and what we could ever be. It is taking things, insane ideas, well, not insane ideas, it's not impossible, it's the improbable, more or less. It's possible sometimes, but in some aspects it's not. It kind of mixes up all these little elements, like, obviously, and they might say, well, science fiction is total fiction. No, it isn't, actually. When you look at half the things we got in our world today, it's eerily reminiscent of some things we've learned about and we've discovered in science fiction. We're getting, very much, there is a fragile line between them. I mean, there is the Shinonuma Element 115. It was not totally believable, but you could get a sense of the story. And then Moon came along, and they were fighting on a moon against undead zombies. No, you didn't know. Why go to the moon? Paris would have made more sense. And I just, still to this day, I just do not agree with that decision. I really don't. And that's just maybe my perspective of science fiction coming across, but for a zombies game to go to the moon, I don't know. I know there's the whole viral concept and all that and stuff, but just... And then blowing up the Earth, I don't know why they did that. I just felt like you just kind of... I was like, where are they going to go with this? And then Black Ops 2 came along and we had transit, and now a lot of people didn't like transit, but I'm on the fence with it. Survival Town was good, especially. I enjoyed that. And then the DLC came out, and I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then we had, I think it was Die Rise first. Was it Die Rise first? I can't remember the order of the maps. That's how bloody terrible I think they were. So if I get some of them wrong, whatever. But Die Rise was shit. I just didn't like it. It didn't capture the feel of zombies like I used to, as I know it, as I knew back in World War I. You might say, well, Kieran, that's nostalgia. Did you really expect them just to release the same game over and over again? Let's see, Dead Space released a similar type of game, Dead Space 2, and that's still enjoyable. I still had elements of the old game, and hell, it even had the flipping Ishimura. That was, for me, the best part of that game. Return to the Ishimura, oh my word, spine-chilling. And then Die Rise, I just didn't like it. And then Mob of the Dead came along, and I felt hope for this game. I felt, yes, they've finally gone back to what captured this game and made it good. And I loved Mob of the Dead, one of my favourite maps in the game. I would play it now, and I will play it then, again. Even when the next game comes out, Mob of the Dead is the only map I'll go back to. Well, and Origins perhaps. Buried. No, again, it just didn't feel like a zombies game anymore. It just felt like you had to do this Easter egg. And again, the Easter eggs, they were all built for 4 players. Not many people out there have the time on their hands to do a 4-player Easter egg. What happened to the radios? What happened to the notes? What happened to the other little hidden elements? There's none of that now, it seems. Oh, there is, but not as much as it should be. And I just feel like they've rushed this story, because when Origins came out and I played it first, I thought, yes, this is a good map. And I still haven't really got much time to play it. I don't feel drawn to zombies as I used to in Black Ops and World at War, and I just feel bad for that. I just want to enjoy my game mode I felt was awesome back them days. I mean, Origins is a good map, and from what I played of it, and whilst I will probably go back to it now and then, it's just, I feel like the reason I don't play it as much is because the other maps kind of ruined it for me. to some extent, except Mob of the Dead. And that's just my personal opinion. You might disagree with me on that. And then the ending of Origins as well with Samantha and the whole thing. I like it. I like the concept of it being all a metaphor, perhaps, and all this stuff. But I felt they've just kind of. It was almost like they screwed the community at the same time. It didn't feel like a proper ending. It's an interesting ending because it could have almost any number of consequences. But at the same time, it just feels like they went, well, fine, let's pretend it was all a dream. And that's face value of it. But if you try to look beyond that face value, then it could actually turn out to be a pretty good. It could become pretty good. So anyhow, guys, I know this has been a long commentary, and if you sat through to the end of this, I am very thankful for the time you spent listening to my video. I know it was quite a ranty video. I didn't mean for it to come across as a rant, but let me know what your thoughts are of Black Ops 2 and what you liked and what you didn't like. Be honest. And be honest as well, would you want to see more of these types of reviews? Well, yeah, let me know. I've been Stockmad of Virals Gaming. Thanks for watching.